Hi, this is Alec Walker, EVP of Financial Planning in the Crestmont Houston office, and you're listening to The Ascent with Crestmont Private Wealth.
The opinions expressed are those of the host. The material is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute investment advice, and it is not intended as an endorsement for any specific investment. Visit crestmontpw.com for more details.
Welcome to The Ascent. This is Sam McGee with Crestmont Private Wealth. We have offices in Houston, Texas and Boerne, Texas. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the analogy that Alec Walker shared with us a few years ago on cooking and how that kind of relates as an analogy to wealth management and long-term investing. But before we do that, let's just take a moment to pause and reflect, thinking about what happened last 4th of July. Obviously, the whole country was seeing what happened in the flooding over near Centerpoint and Hunt, and we continue to pray for the families that lost loved ones, as well as the first responders that were so quick to get out there and risk their own lives in order to make even a lot of saves throughout that. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of documentaries and time spent looking at that, and I just know that today's a very sad day for those families, so just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. On a very proud note, today is America's 250th birthday, which is outstanding. 250 years of independence, and I'm sure many of you are going to be out doing fun things with your family. Do it safely. We're going to talk a little bit about wealth management and cooking to start your day off right. So I'm not a very good cook. I'll just admit it right now. I'm a great eater, not a great cook. And I love to go to a nice restaurant. I actually enjoy the process of cooking, but probably not nearly as patient with cooking as I am with wealth management, which I wish that translated because I'd be a better cook. Today, I'm actually cooking a brisket over at the office. So if you follow our social media, you probably saw this huge unit that we've got over there. It is literally two 250-gallon huge cylinders that have lids, and it's on a trailer, and it's just, I mean, it's fantastic. And I've got a brisket in there, a single brisket that I'm cooking at the office. And yes, I do have the wheels chalked so it doesn't roll onto Main Street, but it is cooking right now. My dinner for tonight with my wife. My kids are at camp, and yeah, really looking forward to that. Although I'm not really sure how it's going to turn out. And why is that? It's because it's the second brisket I've ever cooked in my entire life. And so I'm texting back and forth with one of my good buddies. I won't name him. We'll just call him Johnny. And Johnny's giving me all these tips because he's got experience in cooking briskets. He's probably done 100 of them. In fact, he did 85 pounds of brisket for his neighborhood the other day, and he used our Crestmont cooker for that. So he's good at it. Now, why do I bring that up, and what in the world does this have to do with investing? Well, first off, I probably made you hungry. It's only 8 in the morning. You're listening to this, and you're thinking, man, I really wish I could do a brisket. Well, guess what? It's too late. You haven't bought the ingredients. Well, sorry, you're out of luck. It takes a long time, and it takes a lot of patience. So how does it relate to wealth management? Well, cooking a brisket requires a lot of patience. You can't be opening the lid 25, 30 times, checking the temperature. You've got to be patient. It's kind of like fishing. And you open the lid too many times, the temperature's going to vary, and then it's going to be hot, cold, and it's going to dry out, or you get the temperature too hot, it's going to dry out. So it's a really difficult thing to do for somebody who's a beginner. Well, think about this like investing. We are long-term investors at Crestmont Private Wealth. And at Crestmont, every client has a financial plan. We don't create the menu. They have certain goals that they have in their life. And so we're not just out, telling them exactly what to do. It's partnering with families through their life moments. But using that example of brisket and investing and long-term versus trying to get that quick hit like a microwave, you cannot be successful long-term, in our opinion, as an investor with that microwave method, right? So we all just saw that recently with the SpaceX IPO, and it was a big publicized thing and so much interest and so many people that were kind of trying to rush into that. And did it go above the initial price? Sure did. But did it fall back after that? It sure did. And so think about that as being kind of the instant gratification way of investing off price movements. Think about long-term investing like a long, slow smoke on a delicious brisket. You don't want to be opening the lid every 10 minutes. And I will use that example that is publicized by Vanguard, a very well-known index and mutual fund manager that's out there. So I'm going to use the example of opening the lid too much. And opening the lid would be like getting in or out of the market and trying to time the market. So if you missed 25 of the best trading days between June 1996 and March of 2024 on a $100,000, 60% stock, 40% bond portfolio, take a guess at how much money you would have eroded away by missing the best 25 trading days over that long period. Well, you would lose about 60% of your wealth, $520,000 in return, which is crazy. But it just takes being a little jumpy at the wrong time in order to reduce wealth. It takes being a little jumpy to be a little worried about the temperature of that brisket, to open it up too many times and dry it out. Same thing. Okay, so let's not make a connection between my skill as an investment manager and my skill as a cook, because they're a little different. I'm not trained in brisket, although they do have a class at Texas A&M. Oh yeah, an entire class for college credit on cooking brisket. Is true. Yeah, totally serious. So those of you listening right now, look it up. My alma mater, they do have a cooking class. Maybe I could donate the unit some day out there. Okay, so back to the analogy and thinking about what it means to be a long-term investor. You have to be patient, because to be patient, that allows the compounding. Just like with brisket, if you want to marbleize and you want to get that flavor, you've got to be patient. You can't be varying the temperature by opening that lid so many times. So hopefully I've gotten my point across using this delicious example, and hopefully my brisket turns out all right. So another point about the value of being a patient investor is also the emphasis on the value of an advisor. And this is not a self-promotion. This is not a promotion even for Crestmont. This is really an industry-wide study that Vanguard has emphasized and they published. So you can Google it, or you can contact us for a newsletter that has a link to this and this podcast at info@crestmontpw.com. So this particular white paper talks about the benefit for clients, those that are investors that are trying to stay patient. 86% of advised clients report greater peace of mind. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to cook a brisket and be a wreck for 12 hours. I think I would rather know what I'm doing or have somebody guiding me like Johnny, who's a touch away on a text, so I can have peace of mind while I'm cooking that thing. So same thing with your wealth. I mean, it's just so important. If you don't have the skill, you don't have the time, really seek out a great advisor. And there's plenty of them out there. It's a really big industry. And we'd love to hear from you. If you happen to be a high net worth individual that has $1 million in liquidity and up, that likes to partner with your advisory firm, that would be us. 76% spend less time worrying about their finances when they use an advisor. And this is saving a median of 2 hours per week. So think about your waking hours and what you're doing during the week And I'm pretty sure it's not cooking brisket all week, and I'm pretty sure it's probably working or chasing your kids or doing their activities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Imagine getting 2 hours back. That is the median. So that's 100 hours a year when you have a trusted advisor that is a fiduciary taking care of your wealth. The greatest value of an advisor isn't about predicting markets. As we talked about, being a long-term investor is so important for the compounding. It's about helping clients to avoid mistakes, to help them optimize taxes, stay disciplined, and make better long-term financial decisions. Just like this brisket I'm talking about that I'm going to pop off at 5 o'clock today, having a trusted person to help me through and guiding that to the finish line where it's actually going to be edible, well, that's a good thing, right? I mean, I can't imagine doing this just off a YouTube video, although I guess you could. Another little stat here. Vanguard also estimates in their white paper that services can add around 3% of net value annually over time, while also providing this peace of mind that we're talking about. And if you're really interested to understand the data that supports this, email us. We'd love to hear from you. info@crestmontpw.com. Just ask us to subscribe to our newsletter, which has our podcast, as well as monthly market updates and other financial planning and wealth management techniques that come about throughout the year or time-tested ones. It's really about financial literacy. You're not going to find us sending you something that is to buy. It's all about the financial literacy for the wealthy family. So we're getting close to the end of the show. And, thinking back to one of the very first ones we did when Alec was on the air talking about fine dining and the importance of selecting the right ingredients, having that chef that has produced hundreds of the same dish, maybe thousands of the same dish. That is difficult to replicate, right? And here I am today as a perfect witness to you. I am pretty sure in this podcast you're going to see a burnt, crispy, almost beef jerky style brisket because I've only done this twice. Now, will I get better at it over time? Yes. But what's the difference with money? Time. We don't get time back. I can try 100 briskets and get really good at it. But if it takes me years and years and years, have I destroyed, a whole lot of wealth doing that? Brisket's pretty expensive. But if we're talking about multiple millions of dollars and trying new things and trying new fads and trying to time the market, is it worth it? Just food for thought as we celebrate America's birthday, the 250th this weekend. I hope everyone out there is safe, remembers the families from the floods last year, prays for the Colorado firefighters and those in harm's way. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and God bless.